Hey, what's up, guys? So last time I showed you how to do backtracking, then I uploaded a video shortly afterwards on forward tracking, and I thought I will let you guys know how I did it. And because a lot of people also said it's fake, and because it's actually rather useless in a normal gameplay environment where you're just playing against other people that are either legit or cheating, it doesn't really matter. It's not that good. So let's just start where we actually ended last time. So basically, I'm just gonna. So basically, last time, backtracking is kind of he comes out. You just keep it recording. You know, you keep recording each tick, and then you have it all recorded, and you can shoot at any of these. Now, with forward tracking, you don't have any position, right? So, so he's here, behind the wall, and what you want to do is kind of predict where he's gonna be, right? And then you would say, oh, he might be here, you know, or might be here, here, or here, depending, you know, when he's moving. He's here, and then the first time he's gonna be here, then he moves again, he's here, he moves again, he's here, and so on and so forth. But how do you know the distance here? Well, what I did is, or basically what my understanding was, is that lag compensation kind of works from or they, if you want to call it an exploit, basically the ping, you know, you have a ping, and let's say you have a 50 ping, right? What that means is that what you see is this, right? And that is already with your ping. So this position here is plus 50, right? The server already has the accurate position of the guy, which would be 0, right? The server is 0 because the server is giving you the information. So that is 0. And basically what I try to do is compensate for that delay that you are having, because it takes the time that the latency that you have is basically the delay that you have to the server. So the server sends you an information, and it takes your latency, the time to get to your PC. That's why if you have 150 ping, it looks like you're backtracking, because your information is older than what the server actually is, or what other people actually see if they have a lower ping than you. And I tried to abuse that, and I actually abused it. So what I did is basically, let's go in here. This is a little notepad. So let's say your ping is, I did it with 100, but you can do everything you want. 100 was really good because it had a good length, and it was really good to show off. But you could do it with everything. You could even do it with 500, I would guess. But you would have to predict really far, and the further you predict, the more randomness comes in. You know, if the guy just, you let's say you predict half a second, right? That's on a 64 tick server. That's 32 ticks you're predicting. Maximum, right? That would mean that you have each tick, you know, he could just do something different, slow down a little bit, move a little bit forward. His the prediction just fucks up. That's why this is so inconsistent. So 32 ticks is really far. It's just not gonna work. So I thought 100 is good. It's a good value to show, and it's far enough to give you an idea of what actually is happening. And basically what you do is you take his origin. It's called extrapolation, basically. So what you would do is you take his origin, like this, his origin, okay? Then you take his current velocity, and then you multiply that with the tick interval, right? So basically, the tick interval is kind of like how long one tick is. So this is basically not 64. You wouldn't say 64 here, or 32, or 128, but you would I think you do it like 1 second divided by 64, for example. So you kind of, or 1000 divided by 64. There's an easy comment in the code. It's just cmd tick interval, or I think it's in globals. I don't know, either one. It's globals, I think. Tick interval, and that's just gonna give you the perfect value. It's already in the memory, and with that you would predict the current tick, right? This tick, and then you would basically predict it once forward. What I did is I just went in here, made another bracket, and then I multiplied this with a value, and put this all in a vector, and extrapolate, and then in here you would put the value, and so this was a float, and base entity his. So you put that all in fucking brackets, take that, put that in here, and then you would take his position, you would return that, his position plus his velocity, multiply it with whatever, and then that's it. And now the value would be our ping. So let's say you're using this in your backtracking. I called it in backtracking because I made this in like 10 minutes, and I was just curious if it would work. I guess you could do that everywhere. It's up to you, really. Wherever you're saving his position and all this shit. Now, if you would call this function, you would, enemy or entity, whatever you have, and then here you would basically time to ticks, and then in here you would basically just call your network latency, get network latency, and then you call flow. I don't know how exactly, I didn't really try it. I as I said, I made this in a few minutes. So flow incoming and plus get network latency flow outgoing. So I predicted both here. I was not sure which one I need, so I just thought I would put both in and it would work. And then basically I would take alright, and then here entity origin is that. But I think actually, what's up with this music? Yeah, I was wondering where it is. I think I did it like this. I can't remember. I think I actually did it with the already after the auto wall. So I check check his position where his head is, and then I move his head. So I guess you could just say head, where his head is, and then I predicted where his head is gonna be approximately, according to my tick. So it would, this here, it basically converts this. I think I actually made this completely different. I made this an int, and then I did something like this. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter anyways. Basically, you try to get the time. This here is gonna return time. You convert it to a tick, and then you use that to put it in here to multiply this value with the amount of ticks you have in latency. And then it was actually pretty easy, Basically, from that, you would also store this value. So you would make something like stored value tick difference, and then you would just do that, and now you have that in here, so you can use that later. And then when you're just adjusting your tick count, what you would do is cmd tick count, is, and then you take the old tick count, so basically the one you saved plus the tick difference, and that's it. You're already shooting at the predicted thing. And yeah, just either as your aimbot target, you would just use you know, his head. You would have to calculate it with a calculate angle or something. But that was all I did. And what would happen is, when this is actually the real guy was here, and then my cursor was somewhere in between here, it would just select the one that is closest to my cursor, and it would shoot at that. That was all I was doing. Maybe let's see if I can find that. Sorry, that's a little bit slow. I should clean this up one day. Oh, there's also gonna be some chat a bit popping up like here. Haha. Damn, already 11 minutes. Let's see. I think I used this video. Yeah, I did. So if you go in here and you slow it down a little bit, I don't know if you can actually see my mouse doing that. I wish there was a hotkey for that. But if you actually slow this down far enough, and you can see that I'm not aimbotting. I mean, I am aimbotting, but you just have to keep an eye on this purple one here. See, my cursor was all the time in front of him. Of course he gets tipped. And my ping is 100. So I guess if you want to recreate this, it's not that hard, but it's really not good. It's like, it's fun against bots or somebody that is constantly moving at the same speed. But if he changes anything just before he peaks, you're gonna overshoot, or you're gonna just not hit. Basically, it's easy. It's very easy to do. But yeah, that's it. So if you want to recreate this, here you have it. I'm gonna put a link to this piece of shit. This is just pseudocode. You will still probably have to play around with it a little bit. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this explanation. See you guys in the next one.